Live from the No Panic Zone, I'm Steve Gruber. I am America's voice. I'm a man on a mission to make this nation better. And yes, I'm proud to say I believe in America first. Here are three big things you need to know right now. Number one, the facts continue to tumble out that COVID is the disease of the old and the fat. Sorry, you may not like it, but that's the truth. Suck it up, Buttercup. That's the bottom line. Number two, the jobs report came in far weaker than expected. Only 125,000 jobs added last month, and yet the Biden administration says the economy is doing great and there's no chance of recession. We'll see how well that ages. And number three, the Twitter is really hitting the fan. I mean, why are so many people lining up and taking shots at Elon Musk? I mean, after all, he is one of the people doing everything he can to put clean vehicles on the road. Liberals should be rejoicing. But now that he has bought Twitter and it openly advocates for free speech, the leftist mob is turning its hateful attention to Musk and making all kinds of ugly allegations and assertions. But it is Musk who dropped the big bomb on their collective heads Wednesday when he admitted that he has the proof that Twitter was directly involved in manipulating elections. And we also learned from the former head of security that they intentionally buried the Hunter Biden story in October of 2020, all to protect then-candidate Joe Biden, who was running for president. The Musk revelation that Twitter has, quote, interfered in elections comes as no real surprise to anyone, not to me, not to you, not to anyone who's paid even a small amount of attention to the social media world. The shocking part is that he put it out there for him. He put it out there himself on a tweet for all to see. That's the shocking part. We all get to see it now. A Twitter user captured the attention of the world's richest man by tweeting this in response to a story by Reuters. Twitter has shown itself to be not safe for the past 10 years and has lost users' trust. The past team of trust and safety is a disgrace, so it doesn't have any right to judge what's being done now. They had a chance, but they sold their souls to a corporation. Musk saw that. And a short time later, he tweeted back, exactly. The obvious reality, as longtime users know, is that Twitter has failed in trust and safety for a very long time and has interfered in elections. Oh, my gosh. And that made Twitter hit the fan. Seriously, the twit's hitting the fan. Musk didn't elaborate, but considering he now has access to everything, including internal documents, it makes you wonder what is coming next. He added that Twitter 2.0 will be far more effective, transparent, and even-handed. Well, I'm not sure I could point to the most unhinged of all of those on the left that hate free speech, but I found a few that sum it up. I think this one sums it up pretty well to get started. Elizabeth Warren, sounding frazzled and shrill. Yes, I said shrill. Took more pot shots she did at Elon Musk, basically accusing him of doing bad things with not one bit of proof, not one scintilla of proof. But the senator from Massachusetts goes on blathering anyway. Listen to this.
Republicans say that Democrats are picking on Elon Musk.
Elon Musk is doing just fine.
But do you think that users have a right to freedom of speech, even if what they're saying is wrong or offensive?
I think that one human being should not decide how millions of people communicate with each other. One human being should not be able to go into a dark room by himself and decide, oh, that person gets heard from, that person doesn't. That's not how it should work.
It's the way it's always worked. You think the editor of the New York Times answered to anyone else from, say, 1850 until today? But the New York Times doesn't have the control it once did, nor does the Washington Post or CBS Evening News or name your media platform. The idea that social media could control the narrative, oh my God. How could we allow that? Well, of course, Liz and her band of socialists and misfits and globalists didn't give two twits about any of that stuff. They don't give a twit about you either. That wasn't until free speech was actually free again, and everyone was able to weigh in equally. I mean, the nerve of this guy, Musk, to think he could place the importance of free speech ahead of the agenda of the Democrat Party and the rest of the globalists and the devoted followers of World Economic Forum and Klaus Schwab. I mean, seriously, this Musk guy has some balls. There ought to be a law. And the attacks on Musk are, in fact, a global phenomenon. It's not limited to the United States. Let me give you an example. In Ukraine, a country that's about as corrupt as any on earth, the president there, Zelensky, who spends most of his time counting your tax dollars in his office, joined the leftist attacks on Elon Musk, too, which is weird because Musk put up Skylink, remember that, to keep that country connected to the world and the internet after the Russian invasion began. But listen to this.
From the beginning of the full-scale invasion of Russia, indeed, we had that communication, and personally, I had a line with Elon Musk. What we have lost in this society that got occupied, owing to the internet and the communication, life was maintained. Monies were paid, salaries, pensions, money orders, everything. This is very important because at some point Putin and it seems that Elon began to change his opinion, and we began to hear all kinds of appeals. I don't know if somebody is making an influence on him or he's making those choices himself.
By the way, that's the voice of an interpreter, but it's Zelensky flapping his lips. And I mean, if President Zelensky's angry, then by God, we the American taxpayers should at a minimum send him another several $billion to pilfer through and make himself feel better. I mean, what if Musk exposes him as a fraud? What will he have to fall back on if he doesn't have the American taxpayer to pilfer anymore? Over on CNBC, they're trying to figure out the Twitter storm, too. And here's where it went. To the truth of the culturists, demanding you do as they say. Listen to this.
We need to tell CEOs they're really not aware of, for example, at this point, and ordinary citizens as well. I mean, look, all the best CEOs in America are watching us right now. 3% of your employees are activists instead of working, and they're blowing up your Slack channel right now, demanding that you get involved in a culture war and make political statements. Don't do it. The rest of your employees are feeling bullied as well. Their coworkers are being bullied by these activists. It's time for us to say, I will not be conscripted into America's culture war. We're going to make good products. We're going to help people. We're going to lift each other up. And by the way, we don't hate each other in this country. I got the data, Joe. 93% of Americans say they hate how divided we become as a country. That other 7% who doesn't hate it, those are the activists saying if you buy a Tesla, it means that somehow you believe in hate speech. It's completely absurd, and it's total bullying.
Yeah, only white nationalists drive Teslas, by the way. If you're a white guy in a Tesla, you probably have a Ku Klux Klan outfit in the trunk. Anyhow, that guy's spot on. Do not get bullied by the 3% at work that are saying, well, you have to do this, you have to do that. No, I have to work for what's best for my company. I don't have to involve my company in culture wars. I don't have to do any of those things. And God bless Elon Musk for blowing up the whole narrative to begin with. We'll have more on this because we need to talk more about it. We have to talk about free speech and where we're going with it. We'll also talk about the rail strike and a whole host of other things. But first, the twit hits the fan here on the Steve Gruber Show. We'll be right back.